Wembley's about to explode as Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois clash in a fight that's set to redefine heavyweight boxing. Pro boxer Daniel Dubois looked pumped and ready to take out Anthony Joshua. He mentioned that his training camp is going well and he's got everything he needs to defend his title.
Very confident, very sure and happy and ready to do the business.
Daniel Dubois is coming into the fight feeling like the underdog, but is confident that beating Joshua will prove he's a real champ. He's been dreaming about knocking Joshua out at Wembley and is grinding hard every day to make it happen. Dubois made it clear he's aiming for a knockout, saying, "Yeah, a win by any means necessary, but a stoppage is definitely what I'm after. A good stoppage and a statement victory. And that's what I'm all about." Anthony Joshua is ready to handle his business against Daniel Dubois. He's all about taking the win and coming back with the belt. Joshua's set on getting the job done and bringing that title home.
So my emotions with this fight towards Daniel Dubois are based on a job, focusing, completing a mission, and after that, then the championship belt comes home with me and everything else that comes with it. But no emotion, a job and a mission that needs to be completed.
Anthony Joshua is fired up to follow his game plan and take down Dubois. He's banking on his toughness and boxing smarts to secure the win. Joshua's hyped about fighting at Wembley again, but knows Dubois is a whole different beast. He's set on doing things differently this time and knocking Dubois out for good. Moreover, Turki Al-Sheikh dropped a post on X saying they're hustling to add more seats since everyone's dying to catch the fight. He mentioned how the demand is through the roof and they're working hard to accommodate all the fans who want to be there. Furthermore, pro boxer Jeremiah Milton says the Joshua versus Dubois fight is going to be epic. Dubois is finally getting props for his toughness, and Joshua's out here making a major comeback.
That fight, obviously, you sparred both.
Amazing fight. You got two guys, AJ, who has been on I don't know how you say, a rebirth from both men, you know what I'm saying? Daniel Dubois finally being recognized as something other than a quitter, and Joshua, breathing new energy into all his matches. I think that this fight has potential to be just something,
Milton saying Dubois is going to give Joshua a run for his money. He is way tougher than some of Joshua's old opponents. Both of them bring the heat, so it's going to be a wild fight. He thinks it'll come down to who lands that knockout punch first, since both pack a serious wallop. He's also saying this fight's going to test their endurance and game plans. Dubois has shown he can handle the long haul, so Joshua's got to be ready to outlast and outthink him. It's not just about who's got the bigger punch, it's also about stamina and strategy. Milton also says both fighters hit hard. He admits Dubois is one of the hardest punchers he's sparred with, but Joshua actually landed the hardest punch he's ever felt.
With us, them, what can you tell us?
Yo, I'll say this, man. This is like, and I know I'm known for being 50-50 all the time, but this is the truth, man. I won't ever lie to you. Daniel Dubois is one of the hardest punchers out there that I could say I've shared the ring with, but Joshua actually landed one of the hardest punches that I've ever been hit with.
In addition, former pro boxer Bryant Jennings is backing Anthony Joshua, and he's got a warning for Dubois. Jennings says Joshua's jab and right hand could be deadly, especially if Dubois makes the same mistakes he did in the Hrgovic fight.
Both of them have punching power, great punching power. Dubois, 26, 27 years old. He just keeps pressing, and so I just think that I still would have AJ to win, based off of don't sleep on AJ's jab, the power of it, and don't sleep on AJ's right hand, the power of it. And so and I think that watching Hrgovic and Dubois, the way that he was able to land those right hands, he's not going to be able to allow that to happen with AJ.
Bryant Jennings is all about the Joshua vs. Dubois fight at Wembley, with around 80,000 to 90,000 fans expected to be there. He's pumped about how much AJ's game has stepped up, with sharper moves and better shot selection. Jennings gives a nod to both fighters' power, but leans towards Joshua, thinking his refined skills will shine through. Jennings adds, AJ's got his technique on point, and those right hands are going to be Dubois' worst nightmare. Boxing commentator Adam Smith says Joshua's looking fired up and possibly at his best yet, but Dubois better come with a solid game plan to deal with Joshua's game.
Against a specimen and a former world champion in Anthony Joshua.
Well, he was against a specimen in Filip Hrgovic, maybe not as good as Anthony Joshua, but yeah, Daniel's going to have to come up with a game plan. Remember, Don Charles spent a lot of time with Anthony at the beginning of his career, so...
Boxing promoter Teddy Atlas says Joshua's losses have been key to his growth, making him more professional and disciplined. Those tough fights have helped him step up his game and handle himself better.
Corner, he has become a real pro. In the Joyce fight, in the fight against Usyk, he broke down mentally. That's all I'll say. You know, yeah, there was a low blow in that fight, controversy was, but at the end of the day, he broke down. And then he came back against Miller, and then Herzovic, and he redeemed himself.
Teddy Atlas gives credit to Anthony Joshua for leveling up his game, especially after his tough fights with Usyk and Miller. Joshua's been showing he's got the mental toughness and maturity now, which is definitely a step in the right direction, but Atlas isn't letting him off the hook. Furthermore, professional boxer Arslanbek Makhmudov says Joshua's got way more fight game than Dubois.
About Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois, big fight coming up. Who do you think wins that one?
Oh, I think Joshua have more experience. But this guy showed very good fight. Last fight, Dubois.
Boxing promoter Kalle Sauerland speculates on the implications of the match between Daniel Dubois and Anthony Joshua. He hints that if AJ loses, it could shake up his future plans. And while there's buzz about a potential clash with Tyson Fury, it's all just talk for now. Sauerland's confident Joshua will come out on top, but admits it won't be a walk in the park. He puts it simply, "I think AJ wins the fight. It's not going to be easy." Pro boxer Michael Hunter bets Joshua's going to knock out his Daniel Dubois because he's been hitting harder and smarter than before.
You know, he really tries to get better. You know, and you got to respect somebody like that. So I think Daniel Dubois also is a great fighter. You know, he comes from a fighting, family. He got his sisters and, his brothers and all that. So I think he's going to put in good efforts, but I think Anthony Joshua's going to get this one.
Michael points out that Joshua's right hand is now landing more accurately and packing more punch. It shows he's leveled up his game and is hitting harder and smarter. Hunter added, "I think Anthony Joshua is going to knock out Daniel Dubois with this improved skill." Pro boxer George Groves says, "Joshua's the top pick for the fight, but it ain't a done deal. There are a bunch of things that could change the game, which makes this fight way more interesting."
What are you going with them? Who do you think will win?
I do think Joshua's the favourite. I do think Joshua's the favourite, but I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. There is a lot of things at play to work out, and sometimes it might not be until either man does that ring walk and you think, whoa,
Groves points out that we won't really know how the fight's going to go down until they're in the ring. Joshua's used to big crowds and big fights, but Dubois might either step up or get rattled by the pressure. Professional boxer Dean White is not too sure Dubois can pull off a win against Joshua, but he's really impressed by Dubois' fire and determination.
I don't know, man. I think he needs to hold his center a bit, be a bit more the big man. Don't let the smaller man push you back, and try and big man him and see. But I don't know, it's easier said than done. That's one hell of a fighter, that guy there. And he showed it time and time again, Usyk. So I don't know, man. I really wish and hope he does it, and I'll be rooting.
Dean White breaks down the careers of Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois, giving credit to how they've handled their public image and faced challenges. He's especially impressed with Dubois for bouncing back strong after losing to Joe Joyce, showing real grit and toughness. Dean admits he was skeptical, but Dubois kept shutting him up by winning fights he'd bet against. Dubois' streak of wins proved the haters wrong and showed he's got what it takes to come through when it really counts. Boxing promoter Barry Hearn says Joshua's in the best shape of his life, and he's never seen him more fired up and dedicated.
Well, obviously I'm a big Joshua fan. He's been with us since he won his gold medal in the Olympics. He's a part of the family, really, so our belief in Anthony knows no bounds. I think he's in the form of his life. I've never seen him so committed, but
Barry Hearn knows Joshua's got risks going into the fight with Dubois. He's confident Joshua's in top shape, but he's also aware Dubois is no joke. He's got the power to flip the fight with one shot. Hearn thinks Joshua will win, probably by knockout, but he warns fans to keep their eyes peeled because this fight could be wild and end fast. Boxing promoter Frank Warren's saying if Dubois takes down Joshua, it'd be huge, like Hatton versus Tszyu or Bruno versus Tyson Big. If Dubois pulls off this upset, it's going to be one for the history books.
Dubois was to deliver on September 21st and knock out Anthony Joshua at Wembley Stadium. Where would that rank in terms of wins you've seen? I'm talking about, Hatton beating Tszyu, Naz beating Kevin Kelly. Like, where would that rank?
It's a big. You think of Frank Bruno beating Oliver McCall. Oliver McCall beat Lennox Lewis, and then we got him. We manoeuvred and got Frank in there, who'd already fought 3 times for world title, and then came with me and got beat. Came with me and won the fight. So that was huge. It's been loads and loads of great matches, but certainly, in the last 10 years, it'd be one of the biggest. certainly be one of the biggest. I mean, it's a bit.
Warren's bigging up how Daniel Dubois has leveled up in his boxing career. He points out that Dubois has grown a lot, both physically and mentally, and it's showing in his recent fights. Warren believes Dubois is finally hitting the potential he's always seen in him. This fight against Anthony Joshua is a major moment for Dubois to show he's ready for the top. Warren says this isn't just another match. It's Dubois' chance to prove himself against one of the sport's biggest stars. Similarly, boxing promoter Barry McGuigan says Joshua's still the favorite, but Dubois could definitely win if he lands a big punch. He's got serious knockout power that could change the game.
I think he's going to win the fight. I mean, Joshua would be a favorite, but Dubois can knock him out. Believe me, he can knock anybody out if he hits him on the chin. And he showed against Hrgovic, he had to take some stick and he came back and he overwhelmed him. And I know the cut-eye was what stopped it eventually, but he was completely on top. Can he win the fight? Absolutely. All he needs is a half a second and he can end this fight. So don't doubt that. You still got to make Joshua a slight favourite, but Dubois has a terrific chance.
Barry McGuigan breaks down how mindset is key for both Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois in their fight. He says that staying mentally tough is super important in boxing and will really matter for both of them in this bout. Additionally, former professional boxer Tony Bellew chimes, saying Joshua's got an 80% chance to beat Dubois. He's just quicker, stronger, and hits way harder.
No, that's being unfair. 80-20, no. 80-20. In Anthony Joshua's favour. And the reason I say that, I don't just say that because I know Josh. I think Daniel's a brilliant fighter. He proved me completely wrong against Filip Hrgovic. I thought he was phenomenal. But let's just weigh it up and what each fight is good at.
Bellew acknowledges Dubois' impressive abilities and stamina, but emphasizes that Joshua has a clear edge in speed, power, and technical skill. Bellew argues that while Dubois might match Joshua in terms of work rate, he's unlikely to endure Joshua's powerful punches. He reflects on Dubois' resilience in previous fights, but doubts he can handle Joshua's level of punching power for long. Bellew remarks, Joshua's punches are a different caliber. Dubois might be tough, but he won't withstand that kind of power for too long. Former professional boxer Paulie Malignaggi said both Dubois and Joshua are coming off losses but have bounced back. He thinks this fight's a perfect chance for them to redeem themselves and boost their confidence.
Guys have had to go through that negativity where almost like their self-esteem, their self-confidence, their self-worth was sort of mentally challenged. You could see the way Joshua came back for a lot of fights, even some wins. He didn't look like the same Joshua for a while, But come into play now. That's why fights have to happen, not just that they have to happen, but they have to happen at the right time. This is why I'm so adamant about boxing doing this, where it's not just guys not fighting, it's also guys, by the time they fight, they're not fighting at the right time. Where in this situation, there wasn't a big clamoring about Joshua Dubois, but the fact that this fight's happening right now, when they're both in this ascendancy, especially after having come back from negative spells, I feel like they can have double the confidence.
Paulie Malignaggi said both fighters are feeling pumped because they've bounced back and pushed past their limits. He mentioned some buzz about Joshua getting hurt and losing in sparring with Dubois, but Joshua's leveled up since then. Malignaggi thinks we'll see a fresh and improved Joshua on September 21st. Meanwhile, boxing promoter Eddie Hearn stresses the excitement around the Joshua versus Dubois fight, noting it could lead to an undisputed championship if Tyson Fury gets involved, making it a bigger event.
Eddie, Anthony Joshua, massive fight against Daniel Dubois, one that's really going to get the British fans excited. Is that really a bit of not a semi-final, but is the winner of that fight looking at potentially the winner of Usyk?
I think because the winner of the other fight can become undisputed by fighting them. Obviously Usyk's already done that, but especially if it's Tyson Fury, makes the fight huge. But the winner of AJ against Dubois, the natural fight is to fight the winner of Fury Usyk.
Eddie Hearn, who is also the promoter of Anthony Joshua, anticipates a tough task for his fighter. Hearn added on the massive clash, "It's a massive fight. Both guys are in the form of their careers right now, the confidence of their careers. Dubois is a very dangerous opponent, but AJ's looking sensational. I believe he knocks him out in style." There has been a bit of animosity between Joshua and Dubois since the announcement of the fight, a friction Hearn believes would motivate his fighter to secure another emphatic title win. Eddie further added on the motivation that Joshua has to knock out the kid. Joshua is always motivated, but when that happens, there's just a little bit more spring in the step and spine cap. And this is a chance for AJ to become 3-time world heavyweight champion on such a massive night. Hearn also said that both fighters are in their formative careers right now, and the confidence that both of them have is what makes this matchup so exciting to watch. So, what's your take on this showdown? Can Dubois hold on to his titles, or will Joshua spark his legacy with a hometown win? Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit that like and subscribe if you're feeling this hype.